This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook preview show. We got the DraftKings
live stream.
Live stream. We got things going on everywhere. Hold on. Here we go. I got it. Live stream. I gotta get the DraftKings screen up. We're a little disorganized here, Grande. It's like someone forgot to set the show up and it's just throwing everything off. Let's see.
It was still on time. It was still set up on time. That's all I know.
Right, we're here. We're live. We are not previewing. Well, we are previewing, but we are live.
A little bit of both.
Can you see this correctly? Okay, I don't know. I get a little message that the screen sharing is not working, but
I see it.
Looks like it's working. Okay. 5 games. Tuesday slate. Big news of the day was Joel Embiid being ruled out. Other knee now being looked at.
Yeah, brutal.
Poor guy. It was a great spot. Opens up some more value for us, though, potentially. Mr. Andre Drummond's played big minutes the last 2 games that Joel Embiid has not suited up. Is the field going to Andre Drummond, though? That is kind of the question of the day here. I was a little surprised to see some of the ownership today. Grande, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing well. I think that everything to do with ownership right now is a bunch of BS.
Okay.
And I am ready to have everything change by the end of the show. Because I just, as you mentioned, the only center over $7,000 was ruled out. His backup played 34 minutes the last time out. I'm not saying that's going to happen every time out, but it's a slate with not a lot of center options. There is a slate with unpredictability kind of everywhere. I mean, there's multiple teams, Brooklyn, Boston, Utah, Indiana, that like has massive question marks about their rotations.
Mm-hmm.
And people are gravitating to a lot of pieces in those games. I think there's a lot to sort out. I'm just going to give you numbers and things that I like, and we'll see if the ownership, like I believe some of the ownership, like
Mm-hmm.
I believe Yusuf Nurkic is going to get a lot of ownership. I believe Andrew Nembhard's going to get a lot of ownership.
Sure.
There's some other things that I don't believe. And I think there's just a lot of players that aren't getting ownership that should be getting a lot of ownership. And again, maybe that's something that I'm going to go into tonight and be like, oh, I got this player pretty low ownership today. That's cool.
Yeah.
I felt good about him all day, and that hasn't changed like after looking at some things. So we'll get into it. I am very skeptical with the way that the ownership is being laid out right now. And I will completely I'm not blind to it, but I'm going into this like I know that this is going to change. That's basically how I'm going into it.
What was funny last night was that we were ultimately, you and Keith were ultimately on the 2 right plays with the way Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards performed.
Just didn't matter.
It just didn't matter because Cade Cunningham went for 90 fantasy points. You know, like things like that kind of broke the way they did. Some of the value.
And Wemby had 75. Like it.
Yeah. But both Donnie in the overtime game and then Anthony Edwards, the way he had the second half, both paid off the way you wanted to build your lineup. We'll see what happens here now with a smaller slate. We do appreciate all the comments here. If you guys want to hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons, free way to support. Thank you to all of you who tuned into the preview show and helped us get over that 100 like goal of ours. Hopefully we can keep that running for the live show here today as well. Your top 2 prize plays both are at point guard. One's role now significantly better than it was last night. Tyrese Maxey 10-3, now no Joel Embiid. SGA obviously 10-8, he's always great. You know, get the Warriors. But Maxey's been good with Embiid. He's been elite without Embiid. Gets Boston here. When we built the lineup this morning, or the previous show, I don't remember if we included either.
No,
I don't think we did. I think we built a bit more of a fair and balanced lineup that included Joel Embiid. No Embiid now. Does that make you on Maxey as a primary build today, or where are you looking to go?
There's a lot of layers to Tyrese Maxey because this is some of the ownership I don't totally buy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why 5% of the field is playing Tyrese Maxey. Like, I can also acknowledge that Boston's defense has looked significantly better lately, and they do have one of the better perimeter defenders in basketball in Derek White. But that hasn't necessarily stopped Tyrese Maxey at all. Tyrese Maxey had 26 and 14 against Boston and 40 and 6. And guess what? Derek White played in both of those games. So I'm a little, obviously I'm just completely into a 5% Tyrese Maxey. I don't think it's a priority tonight, but like you look as well, like there's a lot of value tonight. Utah pulled a bunch of ancillary pieces out that should kind of shrink the rotation. Will Hardy made an announcement about their starting lineup that we'll talk about shortly moving forward, which, another, why isn't that person getting ownership? I don't know. Right. So there is plenty of value to get there. Brooklyn, obviously, everyone's playing Brooklyn. Everyone's playing Utah guys. Like, there's value to play Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Yet no one is. If you were asking which one I'd prefer, it is definitely the Maxey side. Like, the numbers with and without Joel don't really change for Tyrese Maxey because I think we're just at this is Tyrese Maxey's team. And Joel is fitting into that. Like 34% usage, 1.4 fantasy, or 33% usage, 1.4 fantasy points per minute without Joel. It's like basically the same with Joel. Like
it's at 31% and that's 1.38. It's nearly identical. It's actually the other pieces that get better without Joel Embiid.
Correct. So, it's Maxey's team, and Joel just like is there or he's not, right? Yeah, I think Maxey is great in any instance, whether Joel plays or not. And I would lean him over SGA if I'm picking between the two.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hilarious the number of players on the 76ers that basically average one or more fantasy points per minute.
All of them.
Yeah, pretty much all of them without Joel Embiid on the floor. And as soon as you add Joel Embiid to that mix, everybody but basically Maxey drops down into like 0.6, 0.7, So I'm surprised that no one's really on Maxey either. That was one of the ownership numbers that I was kind of pulling at, but really no one's also playing SGA. So like obviously there's double the ownership of SGA, but that doesn't speak much when Maxey's 5%. So your top two price guys on the slate are really getting limited ownership here today. Still kind of alluding to the fair imbalance, even though there's some 4K plays that are like 50% of the field are getting to today. Which brings us down to the next group. We have Brunson, Curry, Morant in the 8K range, White and George in the 7K tier. Obviously, we do like the Knicks. This is a game with a double-digit spread, and the Knicks are at home. How do you feel about sort of that next group?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to approach. Again, you're as someone who doesn't invest much in like the blowout stuff. I understand it has to be at least brought up. 2 of the 5 games are over 10-point spreads. So like it's hard to just view it as if they're going to be blowouts. But I mean, Brunson looks good. This is a really good spot for him. Memphis is playing at the 8th fastest pace and they're 20th in defensive rating. When you're top 10 in pace and bottom 10 in defense, like that is optimal for using guys against. I definitely like Brunson. I have little to no interest in Curry unless you're playing large field stuff. Coming off an illness, front leg of a back-to-back, getting the best defense in the NBA is just the worst case scenario for like all parties, Steph Curry included. I think Ja is interesting, and he's obviously going to be a reason why this game would stay close. Like as much as you and I are going to talk about Coward and Aldama later, it's neither of those players are going to keep the Memphis Grizzlies in this game. Like it's going to be Ja Morant and his efficiency and his effectiveness actually scoring the basketball. I do think it's worth the conversation. I am way more invested in Ja if Mitchell Robinson doesn't play this game. I know Mitchell Robinson is not. Yeah, and I know we talked about it. Ja's drives are down, but like they're not improving with Mitchell Robinson there. I promise you that. I promise you he sees Towns and he's like, that is something that I will attack. Like Towns plus whatever else behind him. The 12 minutes of Yabusele or 8 minutes of Yabusele and Hawk Purdy.
Yeah.
I promise you Ja will view that differently than Mitchell Robinson. So something to monitor because the price is great. We know as unhappy as Ja Morant is and is leading off to be, he is not a 30% shooter from the field, especially if he's getting downhill. And eventually he's like, I can get downhill when I want. That game is going to come and he's going to have 60 fantasy points. So at 8,300, it's not a bad price tag to like take a shot on.
No. For a guy still, like you said, shooting 35% from the field, just 15. Dude, he's shooting 15% from three. I understand that I've knocked his three-point shooting because he's not a good three-point shooter, but he's not this bad.
This is different level.
This is like horrifically bad. Like he's averaging over 1.5 3-pointers made basically for his career over the last handful of seasons. So like even as bad as he is at shooting threes, only a 30% shooter. Like he's 14% right now. He's 35% from the floor. And he's averaging still almost 20 points per game. To your point, the night the shot falls, like kind of like we talked about with Derek White, like the night the shot falls, there's 50 fantasy points, 30 plus actual points.
He's going for 60. He's breaking a slate going for 60. The Knicks are obviously good defensively, but I do think if Mitchell Robinson doesn't play, there is a large piece for 18 minutes not in the middle of that defense.
Sure. And again, I'm not looking to build like a core lineup around him. If I'm making 20 lineups tonight, there will definitely be some Ja Morant in there. If I'm making 3 lineups tonight, probably don't even get to Ja in 3 lineups. But, you know, I think that in tournaments, depending on what you're playing and the field size, there's always reasons to play guys at the ceiling like that. Derek White, Keontae George, 72-71. George went back and scored 45 fantasy points the other night. Last night rather continues to be really good. As you mentioned, they moved Isaiah Collier out of the starting lineup, right? And they're just like, you know, like, dude, sorry, bro. We don't.
Yeah, they made Hardy said they're starting Ace Bailey.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So the only thing that could, I guess, potentially change is Svi, right? Eventually, Svi, it's the possibility, or they just like Svi's spacing there more because Collier can't shoot. As good as Keontae has been,
you want the ball in Keontae George's hands, and if you have Collier on the floor, you can't do that, right?
Yes, so, and also for as good as Keontae's been, he's shooting 27% from 3. Yeah. Like there's a reason why Svi Mykhailiuk is on the floor. Like it is to provide space. I think Keontae looks good as long as Hardy doesn't go back on like the Collier or the Bailey starting and they insert Collier into the starting lineup. It's a good spot.
From an ownership perspective, we just get a little bit of an update here. Let's see. Nothing too stiff. So Ja Morant's getting around 20%, which is pretty good. George currently the highest rostered point guard as of now on that latest update there. Emmanuel quickly was someone that you and I talked a lot about just because the assist numbers are actually becoming a bit more favorable to him. Like he's becoming less lucky. If anything, maybe he's becoming unlucky with his assist numbers with the amount of passes he's making. With the assist conversions there at $6,400. AJ Mitchell, Nembhard, this 6K tier, sans pods really is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think this 6K tier is fascinating because even we could throw 7K including because Keontae's ownership has ballooned obviously since
I just said he's the highest roster point guard. So
and that's just because it was been Nembhard all day. Like Nembhard's been number 1 all day. Pritchard's ballooned a bit, and Quickly was up there earlier today, and his has kind of taken a hit. And it's interesting because I love the spot for Nembhard. I've loved the role for Nembhard, and I get it. Like Indiana does have Pascal back in this game. They could have TJ McConnell back. Neesmith's playing here. And there's a lot to like about the role that Nembhard has. I mean, he has absolutely demolished the ball. Like he has just owned the bat. It's just sticking to his hands every possession. And I think there's more minutes to be had because both these games weren't overly competitive either. Mm-hmm. And I so that is a plus for Nembhard. But Emmanuel Quickly's the guy that has the best matchup on the board. Brooklyn is the worst defensive team in basketball by a mile.
Yeah.
And it's harder to trust Toronto, I'd say. I feel better about Nembhard's role, just given like what Indiana has versus what Toronto has to, essentially do everything. But it is a fascinating kind of ownership discrepancy, because if it stays this way and I'm only playing one, it would probably be quickly if the ownership stayed this far apart. I mean, they're about 10 percentage points apart. And then you have the Pritchard factor. I'm probably just not playing Peyton Pritchard at that ownership. When you have someone as ball dominant as Nembhard and as good as Quickly's been in the matchup. Like, I get that Pritchard has the advantage over them in terms of positional eligibility, where you can slot Pritchard into shooting guard and stuff.
Which probably helps the ownership there.
It does. It definitely does. But, and I'm not even saying Pritchard's a bad play. I just think the other two are better. If we're talking about point guards, and again, we're going to get the shooting guard, and our tone could change, and Pritchard might become like, you can plug and play him. But if you're like playing Pritchard at point guard over Quickly and Nembhard, that's where I get a little whiff.
Would you rather play a 30% Pritchard or a 15% AJ Mitchell?
It's a good question. At point guard, I'd probably at this point play AJ Mitchell, but
I mean, minutes have been really consistent. Obviously, the production's been consistent. They're still without Dort and
Dub,
Wiggins and all those guys, right?
Yeah, all three of those guys are out. Mitchell's one of three players averaging over a fantasy point per minute for OKC. Shea, him, and Chet, and Hartenstein with how good he's been lately. But so 4. I'd probably go Mitchell if we're talking solely on just the point guard position.
Sure. And recent performance, the Pritchard numbers. He did a lot of this Orlando in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. He just stat padded himself. So I know it doesn't take away. Like, he still scored 27, and that's great for DFS. But he was trash for a lot of that game.
I mean, Peyton Pritchard baseline numbers this year: 21% usage, 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Like, that's fine if he's playing 36 minutes. Like, that's fine. 0.9 fantasy points. That gets you to 5x. But
probably need more in a 5-game slate, right? A little bit.
Yeah, and at the same price, there's just 3 higher usage players at the same price range. 4 if you include Quentin Grimes.
Right. And dude, Grimes, we went by Grimes in the previous show because Embiid was playing. You take Embiid off the floor, correct, and now there's a 1 point fantasy point per minute player there.
Correct.
And again, one of the reasons that I think I like the next guy, he's also getting some ownership, is Anthony Simons, is that, if they both decide to do it, they can both just play very small today. Right? Like, the field wants, we think the field, currently they're not, but we would think Andre Drummond would get a lot of ownership on this slate. But if the Celtics wanted to, they can play small, and Philly plays small, and they just got a bunch of guards and wings on the floor and no real centers. So Simons is getting ownership. He's $4,500. He did all of this in the first half of the game. All 25 points came in the first half against Orlando. Didn't score another bucket. Only played 23 minutes in that game.
Only played 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, I think.
Yeah.
Like, they took him. He played 2 minutes, and then they put Hugo in, and he changed the game.
So again, a lot of the Boston media around was critical of Mazzulla in the first Orlando game for not playing Simons. Then he played him basically the entire first half of the other game, and he was really good. He had like a 7-minute stretch without Derek White and Jaylen Brown on the floor, and in that stretch, he had a 26+% usage rate. So like there's some good opportunities for Simons tonight. It's just whether or not you believe in Mazzulla, right? Does Mazzulla give him the minutes, or do they go is Maxey eating them up, and all of a sudden you got Hugo Gonzalez on the floor?
I'm not believing in any coach that's playing machine gun sounds at practice, but just to get their team.
That wants to add a fighting element to the NBA.
Yeah, that coach is not to be trusted. But
a lot of people are playing Simons. Obviously, there's not a ton of like trustworthy value at point guard, but offensively, Simons probably.
I think I would throw 2. I'll just throw 2 names out there that I think are similar to Simons that you can get at a better ownership discount. Jamal Shed is the first one. He overlapped for basically the first time with Emmanuel Quickly the last time out. And I had said to you on the preview show last night, the only person averaging more potential assists on this Toronto Raptors team per game is Jamal Shed. They ruled out Ochai Agbaji. I think there's a couple extra minutes coming Shed's way, especially if he's just going to play well. He's 3,900. And Walter Clayton Jr., Utah has a bunch of pieces out. Like, they ruled Hendricks out. They ruled K-Love out.
Yep.
Obviously, without Walker Kessler as already. And Kyle Anderson's out. Niang's out. We knew Niang's out, but Anderson's out too. They closed, John, last night with Walter Clayton. It was Keontae, Markkanen. We'll talk about one at shooting guard. Clayton and Filipowski. So just throwing out there, second leg of a back-to-back. Walter Clayton closing last night, playing well. Utah played well down the stretch of that game. And we know he's a pretty good fantasy point per minute player. So.
I was going to say, I think almost every slate we do, I scroll down and click on Walter Clayton Jr.'s team just to see if they're giving him more minutes yet. Right? Nope, still just playing low teens. And you look at the box score, and we kind of talk about this with other guys. It's like, all right, like 6, 3, and 2, and you kind of quickly scroll by, but it's like 17 fantasy points in 18 minutes, 12 and 12, 13, 24 and 16. Like the numbers fantasy point per minute wise are really good. If they ever just to say F it, let's just play Walter Clayton Jr. more. Like they're at least finally doing with Davis Bailey. So it's good on that. And then the Shed one's fine. Again, game theory play. You've talked about it. He was averaging, was it more assist chances than Quickly? So
yes,
some opportunities there. Anything else at point guard?
No, let's go to shooting guard.
Alrighty. Butler, $8,400. Barrett, 72. Can play Keontae here at 71. Edgecombe is somebody that benefits from the usage and fantasy point per minute without Embiid on the floor, as again, everybody does. But Edgecombe had a pretty significant decline with Joel Embiid on the floor there for a little bit. And he has played really well against Boston, $6,900. Again, a lot of these guys are kind of retreads with the dual positional eligibility. How are you feeling about this top half of the group?
It's fine. Like, Keontae obviously stands out the most because he's point guard, shooting guard.
Yeah.
Barrett is safe, reliable. Doesn't feel like there's much of a ceiling.
He's your raw points guy today, right? You want
raw points guy? Yeah. Just feels good, right? Just plug RJ in. Feels like he'll get you at least 30. Won't let you down too bad.
We've talked about it a lot with Toronto, and those of you who are new and maybe you're just tuning in for the first time, we say Toronto. You look at their starting five, and obviously they're a big four there. Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, and Barnes. Any given night, any one of those guys can go off for 50, and you just hope that you played the right one. Yeah. That's kind of where it's at. Quickly's been really good lately. Barrett's always pretty consistent. Barnes has had some ceiling games. Ingram's had some okay games, but for the price, he hasn't always paid off the tag. But all four of those guys individually in years past were like the best player on their team at times. So, you were plugging them in. So, all those are good. I like George a lot as well. We talked Grimes already.
Just on the Grimes front, to 24% usage, one fantasy point per minute, like just really solid. Going to close games, right? Like he's going to be in the close. That would be the Trent and Watford issue, or if they go away from Drummond, like one of those two probably get cut at the end of games because they close with Grimes. Like they'll run the Maxey, Edgecombe, Grimes, Oubre, and then it just depends on the fifth guy there. But
if they go Luka Garza, I almost wonder if they would take Drummond off the floor and go Watford at the 5.
Or Bona. So, I mean, there's a chance.
Yeah, something like that. A little bit more athletic, big there. Coward's $5,800. Again, been really good, consistent for them off the bench, but he plays a lot of minutes still. Fills up the stat sheet. Decent, efficient shooting at times for him, hitting his threes. So, $5,800 there. Any other value, I guess, at shooting guard in this 5K range for you?
No, let's just talk Ace Bailey because again, like this is why we started the show the way we started.
Yeah,
he was getting no ownership, and I just couldn't believe it. He was announced the starter moving forward. He played well. relative to price last night, made his first start, right? It's like I have a hard time believing that he's not going to be one of the highest rostered players of the day. He's $4,300 top 5 pick with legit offensive ability, who last night 10 potential rebounds. He was third on the team in potential assists as well, John, third on the team in potential assists. He had 8 potential assists last night.
Yep.
That player at $4,300 should be the highest rostered player. Like, I understand there's limitations and it's Utah. So, like, that's where it's scary. We don't know what Will Hardy's thinking on a day-to-day basis. Like,
never do.
No, it's weird. I mean, Will Hardy got an extension. I don't even know if he's ever had a winning season in the NBA, right? Like, it's a mystery. I understand that the hand he has been dealt, but I would have
been more concerned if everybody was ruled in today, because he could have just gone and given everybody 18 minutes.
100%, 100%. And I'm not doubting, like, this is just like the time, like, they've announced it. He's starting moving forward. We've seen the minutes ramping up to this point to begin with, and like, all systems go. I was just shocked to see the ownership so low, knowing those things.
It's still only 20% right now, which still feels probably a little bit low for the slate. Again, no one's jonesing to pay up for a Maxi or an SGA, so the fair and balanced builds are still kind of living. 9 shot attempts both games. Are you concerned that just Markkanen and George just have so much volume shooting?
Yes, but it's a $4,300 player that was double-digit potential rebounds, 8 potential assists, and is skilled offensively. That will find his way, So, like, I understand he is not number 1 or 2 in offensive pecking order currently. He did other things in that start that make me say, like, okay, this is something that can, like, production-wise, be easily elevated when he starts scoring, because, like, the rebound, look at the games where he's extended this year. He's rebounded in every single one of them. The 8 potential assists was kind of a shocker, and obviously he was active defensively too. So I think the shot volume is only going to rise here. But yes, I mean, he is not in this offense, like, suddenly leapfrogging this version of Keontae or Markkanen until one of those guys are traded, most likely Markkanen. But, like, he's playing with good passers too. Nurkic, very willing big man as a passer. Keontae, obviously, we talked about all the assists, and if he is playing with Collier, if there's any overlap there, it's all stuff that he is going to benefit from. So I think, like to see his ownership, and again, I know it's positional based, like Anthony Simons having them as much ownership, I think is criminal. Like, it's criminal. And I get it. Yeah. Positional eligibility matters here, but there's almost no world I'd rather play Simons than Bailey if we're just talking about this position.
Sure. Davis said he got Maxi at 35.5 points and assists. He could easily clear that in points.
Literally points.
I took the over 28.5. So for his points, so I do like that. Jay said any Peyton Pritchard love. We did mention Pritchard. We're kind of lukewarm.
Safe.
He's fine.
He's safe, right? Like, he's just a safe. Yeah. Like, you want to play him, play him. Like, sure.
Depends, I guess, where you're playing him, right? Obviously, we like a little bit more of the 6K tier at the point guard position. He has dual positional eligibility. While we're already getting ownership news on Wednesday, no Donovan Mitchell for Wednesday slate.
Interesting. Well, is it the laceration then? Rest.
It just says rest.
Yeah,
rest. Didn't play today. Gets rest tomorrow. Alrighty, cool. More to talk about on the preview show tonight. Any other shooting guards here?
I would just mention Drake Powell.
Okay. Not
a priority for me in any way. He was, he only played like 7 first half minutes, but if you are a blowout enthusiast and you think this game doesn't stay competitive, then, you could play Drake Powell.
Okay. Cleveland just ruled out Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley for tomorrow against Miami. So there you go. All right, small forward.
My name is 50 Tyson.
Yeah, in Miami in that peso spot. Hopefully, they haven't put out the slate yet. Hopefully, they've adjusted pricing because I don't want to have a bunch of 3K calves that we just have to jam into our lineup. Merrill to the moon, right? Jalen Brown's $8,500. Plug that in. We had where was it? Was it Anthony that mentioned Brown?
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah,
right
he mentioned Jalen. Yeah, I mean, I will never fault anyone for playing a guy with a 37% usage rate on the year. That is a baseline number for Jalen Brown. I rounded up. It's 36.7. It's a big number. It's a massive number. I tweeted before the year, will Jalen Brown lead the league in shot attempts? I think it's possible.
Him or Booker, right?
I think it's possible that Jalen Brown is your league leader in shot attempts by year's end because Boston's getting better. They're just playing better. So more competitive games means more Jalen Brown minutes, means more Jalen Brown hair attacks on people, and also shot volume. So
another guy who is not shooting well from three, but is not this bad of a 3-point shooter, right?
He started off really well from three.
Yeah,
36% is actually probably better than his career average.
Yeah. Well, he's actually at his career average right now, 35.9 on the dot.
Is that his career average? That's hilarious.
Jalen Tyson ruled out for tomorrow.
Okay, so never mind. Taking off Jalen Tyson from that equation.
I honestly don't know who's left. Did they sell Ricky Rubio? Who's playing in Cleveland now?
Ricky Rubio. Craig Porter Jr. is going to be 90%
rostered. Yeah, Larry Nance probably. Well, I'm just looking. I guess more recent game, right? He's hit 4 threes over his last 4 games.
Yeah, definitely has struggled. Definitely has struggled lately. Yeah.
All right, so he's 85. Kuminga is 8K. Brandon Ingram, I would still definitely play. Porter Jr. 74 would still play. I like OG at 65. Oubre is certainly interesting without Embiid now. Neesmith at 63. Another good mid-tier range here.
Yeah, the Michael Porter. If the game stays close, right? You play Michael Porter.
Even if it doesn't, he's just getting his shots.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's just the cap of minute. He's played 38 minutes in a game this year. So we know that in a competitive game, Michael Porter can play a bunch of minutes. They just will not extend him too much if the game's a blowout. I think OG is definitely solid. He has been really, really just safe. If you want to play OG, it feels very good. The roll's really good. The rebounds have been really good. Never going to be a overly high usage player, but definitely solid. Neesmith, a guy, he's one of the 3 Pacers I think you can trust when it comes to minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nembhard, Siakam, Neesmith, those are your trust tree in terms of minutes. So, very, very low floor on a lot of things, but he is a very elite shooter that can get very hot. So, nothing that stands out to me, but Porter, Brown, OG.
Yeah, Brown and OG are the top 2 ownership plays. Zaire Williams is getting some ownership love at $4,100.
Yeah,
well.
It's a bad small forward, which is why I think the ownership is kind of playing out the way it is. But the Brooklyn value is just gross again. It's just going to be gross every day. I don't know.
Sure.
Dude.
Are you surprised about the spread in that game? I would have thought
10.
I would have thought it would have been more.
I was shocked at the Utah Minnesota one from last night. It was 7.5. The books just respect home teams.
Sure.
We've seen that forever. They just give the home team a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
So
it's the Knicks at home are giving 10 to the Grizzlies, and the Nets are getting 10.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it's a blowout, but the books do just they're 2-3 at home against the spread this year.
Sure.
Or they're 3-7 against the spread, but they're 2 overall, but they're 2-3. So 2 of their wins against the spread this year have come at home. So the book's just giving them a little respect. Not that that matters at all, unless you're Emmanuel Clase throwing a first pitch, allegedly. But other than that, like,
in your Andy Pajes swinging at that first pitch,
well,
prompting people thousands of dollars. All right, let's get to power forward. Allegedly. Because we've had quite a few comments on Kyle Filipowski.
Yes.
Are we playing him and Bailey together? Why is everybody playing Filipowski? I think there's even another mention of him.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, he's the highest roster player of the slate. There's
highest roster player of the slate. Oh, over 40% Kyle Filipowski here. This is just the fact that they ruled everybody else out, right? All the depth pieces are gone, and Filipowski can play 3 spots on their rotation, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why that he started the year as a starter, and that evaporated immediately, right? Like that, he is not very good defensively. So, you know, he's best suited to be a center. I think there's a case to be made. Like Nurkic has a wide range of outcome when it comes to minutes, right? We've seen 30 a couple games. We've seen last night in like a fairly competitive game, Nurkic taken out halfway through the 4th, and Filipowski closes. There's no Kevin Love. There's no Taylor Hendricks. Filipowski's minutes have already trended like upwards, where, you know, they cut basically like the Kyle Andersons out of the rotation prior to this absence, but like cut him out of the rotation and kind of given minutes to Filipowski. We saw the shot like Harden's question. Filipowski overlapped with Bailey a bunch last night. I would not have a problem playing both of them. that's not like a 1v1 situation. Sure. Like Filipowski was overlapping with Nurkic in the 4th and then just closed instead of Nurkic. He was also playing with Ace Bailey in the 4th on 2 different occasions. So like there's a lot of different lineup iterations that Filipowski plays. He plays the 4, he plays the 5. And like you said, there's the other ancillary pieces being out just help him slot into those roles.
Yeah.
So I do think like he's a fantasy point per minute guy that plays both positions that have missing pieces from it. Like Taylor Hendricks has been playing teens minutes a night. He's not there. Kevin Love basically been playing backup center. He's not there. So there's minutes to be had. He's a cheap option that is power forward center eligible. So like, that's why he's getting a lot of ownership. Is it like my favorite highest rostered player of the slate play we've ever had? No.
Take money out of the equation, I guess. Would you rather play Filipowski at 40% or Watford at 20%?
That's a good question. I think Watford, obviously, in a tournament, profiles better because we just literally saw him have a triple-double. So there is obviously the ceiling you want in tournaments.
And the game that Embiid played in, the game that he didn't play in, bookended that. He really wasn't. I guess he was good against Cleveland. Wasn't good versus Detroit.
He's going to start, obviously, yep. Right? Like, there's going to be a start here for Watford. But like we talked about, Boston has a lot of iterations of lineup. And most likely scenario for Philly is the 3 guards plus Oubre plus a big.
Yeah.
Filipowski's price just makes it easier to play and more comfortable to play than Watford because they could both essentially, like, there's a realistic, range of outcome where they play the same minutes. And then if that's the case, I'd probably just play Filipowski for $800 cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a good question though, John. Like it's a really valid question because we're literally 2 games removed from Trent Watford having like the game of his entire life that he's probably not going to replicate again. But Filipowski is multi-position eligible and $800 cheaper.
Sure. Up at the top is Siakam. We had a question on Towns versus Brunson at 9K. Scotty Barnes, Lauri Markkanen getting some ownership. What are your thoughts on the top guys at power forward?
Yeah, so salute to everything Pascal's done for us throughout the year. And I'm sure we will be back to you, sir, at some point when Indiana inevitably has another injury. but I'll see you in Your watch has ended, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Okay.
I'm not paying 9,800 for Pascal. The roll's going to be fine.
Sure.
Like, he's going to have a great roll.
It's a good matchup.
It's a good matchup.
Would it shock you if Siakam came out of this game with 60 fantasy points?
No. Wouldn't shock me if he had 38.
Okay.
And at 9,800, I can't get there. Like, but I acknowledge everything you just said. I think he's fine if you get there. Would I prefer Karl Anthony Towns? I sure would. And would I prefer Karl Anthony Towns to Jalen Brunson? I sure would. Not to say Brunson's a bad play, but it's a really good spot for Big Cat. Mitchell Robinson is really not playing a lot.
Yeah, even when he was playing, it's 16 minutes.
16 minutes. Yeah, they've already said, like, we can't play you anymore, sir. Memphis is a bad rebounding team. They're bottom 20, or they're 20th in rebounding rate this year. I love Towns. Love Barnes as well, especially in tournaments. We know what the ceiling can be on Scotty Barnes, and this is just dream spot for Scotty Barnes. So, yeah, it's hard for me not, like, if I'm looking at power forward and I have the option to play a $9,800 Pascal with, like, an improving health situation in Indiana, or Towns against Memphis and Barnes at 8,400 against Brooklyn, I know the direction that I am personally going in. And it's unfortunately not it's not the only NBA champion on that list.
Nope. I agree. Barnes 84. Laurie's getting the second highest as of now. It looks like we are about to get another update, so we'll stay tuned there.
Ooh, the tease. Nice.
I get Chet at 77, Triple J at 75. What are our thoughts in the next group?
My thoughts are Chet is good at basketball, has a ceiling, tournaments only. And what in the world has happened to Jaren Jackson Jr., my beloved? Where have you gone? You are unplayable.
I wonder if he's just feeding off the negative energy.
The minutes suck, right? The minutes just suck.
He's got to earn, got to play well to be on the floor.
No, it's just, everyone's minutes have sucked basically until Ja became unhappy. And then they were like, okay, maybe we should play him more. And Ja became unhappy because of the rotations, because they're playing 11 guys a night. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in this tier. Draymond's too expensive. He's priced as if Steph's not playing. Jarris Walker, I could see Jarris Walker playing 27 minutes in this game. There's no chance I'd play him at 67. I think the next couple names are interesting. Santi Aldama, you and I had talked about Santi in the pre-show, and Josh Hart, 5,400. I think Aldama specifically is very intriguing. The spot is terrible, for the record, for Memphis, like, even dating back to, like, when we were talking about Ja. Like, this it's not a good spot. But Aldama is not getting any ownership. The minutes are trending in the right direction. I mean, you just look at, since Detroit, 26, 28, 30. I'm not saying that we're going to get a 2-minute escalation every time out. Like, we're not ending at 48 minutes like 2 weeks from now. That's not happening. But, like, he is just simply one of their better players, and they are realizing that. I think Tomas Iasolo is realizing, like, you can't play the European style of rotations in the NBA, and you need to play your best players more. And Aldama is kind of that. I mean, you look at some of the numbers for him this year. Like, 21% usage is fine, but over a fantasy point per minute, like, the 21% usage is third on the team. That's right behind Triple J.
Sure.
It's a solid number for just a depleted team. And over a fantasy point per minute, as I mentioned, like, really good. And no one's playing him. So I like Santi at 56. And then Josh Hart, another one, 26 to 27 minutes seem to be the role. He can't feel his hand, which is, like, obviously a little bit of a concern when you play.
Didn't he have that last year? Wasn't there like a whole thing with him last year?
It was the knee or the back last year. Now he, like, lost feeling in his hand, which is bizarre that you just can't, like, he's going through spurts in everyday life where he's, like, unable to have feeling in his hand. And that obviously is concerning on a basketball floor, but it hasn't affected him lately.
Sure.
He's doing a lot of Josh Hart things, right? The scoring has been up, the rebounding is always there, and he's a very good secondary playmaker when he's on the floor. So, and especially with Mitchell Robinson, they're going to start Shamet. If Mitchell Robinson doesn't play, they start Shamet, and then that is better for Josh Hart.
Okay. We did get a little bit of an update, but not like a ton changed. Noah Clowney is up over 20%. I think that was there before. Filipowski's still your top guy. Nembhard, third highest overall. Jaylen Brown, fourth highest overall. I guess those moved up a little bit.
Wow, Jalen especially, huh?
Yeah, Nias Keita and is up there now. So we'll keep tracking this for everybody.
That kind of shows you why, like, Jalen's ownership spike kind of shows you why no one's getting to like Maxey, right? Because like people think that you have to play Jalen at small forward because it's a bad position. So people are just like, well, why don't I just play the guy with 37% usage?
Maxey's ownership did double. It's at 13% now. So
okay, that's fair, but still, like, you would think without Joel and the role that he just has as a baseline, where he plays 40 minutes a night, like you're like, oh, he would get more.
Yeah,
he's not. But yeah, just interesting. The back to power forward, John, on the Clowney front. Mm-hmm. And I said this on the pre-show, and I'll say it again. You know, he was just shooting out of his mind, and he is a good defender, and that's why he's in the starting lineup. And there's, I think, a chance that he plays some backup center as well. They did recall Danny Wolf, one of their 77 draft picks from this year, to the big league club. You know, like, he was called up from the G League. He is available. So I wonder how they handled the backup run, because Day'Ron Sharpe was ruled out today. So I do think there's an outside chance Clowney plays some, like, he's going to start at the 4 and then plays some 5. But they could play Claxton more. They could play Wolf. And then we're really relying on Noah Clowney to just make shots again. And that's not a world that I want to live in, John. I don't want to rely on Noah Clowney making shots. So it's another one of those, like, I don't love your ownership being where it is. I might just avoid you at all costs type of play, and just play, like, I'd rather take a shot on the Watford upside. I'd rather play Filipowski. So it's just not a big thing for me to, like, get to Clowney at this ownership. That's probably something that I'd completely avoid. I would even play, if we got word that Mamu was out, I would even probably play CMB over Clowney. I know that's kind of probably a bold take, but I would probably play Colin Murray-Boyles over Clowney if we got word that Mamu was out.
Our guy the Prince asked about Josh Minot. He is getting 20% ownership here as well.
I mean, Mitchell Robinson out.
All right, well, there you go. So that helps. What
Big Cat. They're going to start Shamet, I presume.
Okay,
that would be my assumption. That's what they did the last couple of times. You start Shamet. Towns is obviously.
Hart get any additional run here?
Yeah, I think Hart gets additional run. Something to possibly monitor is Jordan Clarkson.
Okay.
Again, not like concrete, but Jordan Clarkson's minutes have been trending up, and he's really cheap. I'm trying to go back to that Washington game, because I think that was the game that we had the Clarkson spike. Clarkson played 21 minutes in that game, John, without Mitchell Robinson.
Sure.
He played almost the entire second quarter, and then played like a hell. I'm just saying, if you were asking me what my favorite sub 4K value was today, we had that question yesterday, and it was a terrible question, because at the time, like, Javonte wasn't available, like Pistons weren't ruled out and whatnot. Not going to have that problem tomorrow, I promise you. Clarkson, just trending upwards with minutes. And in that Washington game, that was the last time Mitchell Robinson didn't play. Played almost the whole second quarter. They start Shamit. He plays almost the entire second quarter. Josh Hart closed the half, by the way, just throwing that out there as well. But we know him. We know what Jordan Clarkson is.
Yeah.
I don't care what team he is on and who is on what pecking order. Jordan Clarkson's never seen a shot he does not like. He's also a very good scorer when he gets hot. So this would probably be my answer currently if I was to play anyone under 4K, I believe. Because I don't think any of these value plays right now, I think Jordan Clarkson would probably be the guy I would answer with. Favorite play under 4K would probably be Jordan Clarkson now that Mitchell Robinson's out.
Okay. Back to the Josh Minot conversation.
Yeah, I might not go there. And by might not, I mean I'm definitely not going there.
Okay.
I cannot deal with anything this up and down. It's impossible. That's kind of why like you're more bullish on like Simons than I am. Sure. And I don't hate Simons, but like there is clearly like 3.5 players in the trust tree for Missoula, right? It's Jalen, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and half of Neemias Queta. Sure. Like I feel pretty good about Neemias. Like day to day, there's nothing else I feel good about on a night to night basis with Boston. I don't know if you feel that's your team. I don't know if you feel differently, but I have
no idea what their front court's doing. I do feel better about Simons. I just think like they realize the scoring that he brings to the table. Sure. It is really, it's. One of the beat writers, they asked him about Simon specifically, and they're like, yeah, like there's reasons why guys who've come into this team that don't play defense don't stay very long. Right. And Simons is certainly one of those guys, and they're trying to get him to be a better defensive player and live and hope that the offense kind of helps overcome some of his defensive deficiencies while they work on his defense. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right, center. We did have a question from Anthony. With Embiid out, does that make Hartenstein a must play with Towns? Well, we like Towns anyways. Does that make Hartenstein a must play?
No, all those things are not correlating whatsoever.
No,
none of those things. I think Hartenstein is in play. If you want to go there, I think it's fine, but I think Nick Claxton looks really good in his role. Just kind of ignore the minutes against the Knicks. They lost by 100. Nurkic is going to be really popular. Very wide range of outcomes for Yusuf Nurkic. But
you feel better though about his minutes knowing there's no love now?
Yeah, they also closed with Filipowski at center last night. So they
true. They have less players obviously all around.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I'm just saying like. That is also just a very wide range of outcome for Nurkic, but he is a very good fantasy player in a very good spot.
Sure.
I think Jakob Poeltl is a little bit misrepresented in everything today. We kind of talked about it the other day. He's not going to get his own shot, and he is not ultimately like a great defender, but he is a good shot blocker. He is a good rebounder. And more
people are playing Mamu tonight.
And more people are playing Mamu who we don't even know is going to play, by the way. Mm-hmm. He's questionable. I saw a CMB question. We talked CMB. We like CMB if Mamu is out. But I think Poeltl's a little bit misrepresented. And then the Drummond one is absolutely fascinating tonight.
Ownership did go up to almost 20% on Drummond. It was not there at all earlier, so...
If you were to predict, if you were to just tell me Andre Drummond played 28 minutes, I'd be like, yep, easy click.
In this spot specifically against Boston. Right.
Dude, he went 17-12 against Jalen Duren. He went 13-13 against Cleveland's front court. Like, this is an absolute elite fantasy player, has always been that. And now he's the guy at work who's like, oh no, I stumbled into being really important. Yeah. Like he's overthrown a Dembona for crying out loud. So if you were to tell me Drummond plays 28 minutes tonight, easiest click on the board for me.
I was in 2 underdog battle royal drafts as the Embiid news hit, and got Drummond with the last pick in each round. So Drummond was my 5th selection of those 2 drafts. So
let me ask you this: if we go into the slate, we don't know what Nurkic minutes are going to look like. We don't know what Drummond's minutes are going to look like, right?
Yeah.
I could definitively tell you, because it's on my screen, that they could end up playing the same amount of minutes and one guy's $800 cheaper. I would just play the cheaper guy.
And it's also, as of at least for right now, okay, so another ownership just came through. Drummond now is storming up the ownership. He is now he should have. And as Keith said to basically kick off the show, if Drummond isn't chalk, I forgot how to play NBA DFS. People forgot how to play NBA DFS. He's up. Drummond now up to 26%. Nurkic still leading 31% there. Filipowski 39%. Excuse me. So again, ownership is coming up on those guys there. See if anybody else. Ja now up to 26%. 4th highest overall player, Ja Morant.
Oh boy.
Ace Bailey up there, as we talked about. Jaylen Brown dipped a little bit to 20%.
Peyton Pritchard's leapfrog Nembhard.
Yeah, which again, I am, as you are, a little lukewarm on Peyton Pritchard. Like, he's fine, but I don't know. I don't get excited about Peyton Pritchard here. So
no, he is a fine multi-position play.
Yeah,
because you could play him as shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was the point of the program where I figured we would get the steam on some of these players. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to see where Maxey went. Maxey is up to 17% now.
Okay.
So SGA 13, Maxey 17. So people are moving as the values, I guess, get more love a little bit. Like Bailey and all those guys, you're seeing Maxey move as well. We still have an hour and a half, by the way. 7:30 roster lock tonight. For more news and updates to come through here.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd mention is Filipowski. I don't think there's really anything you need to there's no cheap values that you can oh yeah, I could see myself getting to this player.
Luka Garza at $3,300.
No, Warren also just wanted to mention Luka Garza. He can be good. He has always done this. Like in Minnesota, he was always doing this. He's always
got a couple of games here. There, honestly, I don't see a reason why not to tonight specifically. Like, you move Drummond off the floor, put Luka Garza out there, can kind of stretch it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Neemias. I think the only thing I'd say is it feels to me like there has been a bit of a stranglehold on the position because they started obviously
with their only real center.
Yeah, and they were playing Boucher and they were playing Tillman.
Tillman and Boucher don't even take their sweats off.
They're not even in the equation for
Jordan
now.
We didn't talk Jordan Walsh at all. Again, not that we want to go diving crazy into the Celtics rotation, but Jordan Walsh, the last 3 games, 24, 19, 26 minutes, $3,800.
Wouldn't you rather just play Clarkson? At a similar, cheaper price point?
Probably. I mean, just positionally, right? Small forward.
Yeah, positionally. That's sure. Small forward kind of stinks. I wouldn't go there personally, but yeah.
6 and 7 rebounds, energy play, defense
7?
numbers there.
Is that how the kids do it?
I don't understand. Dude, I can't tell you what that even means.
I don't know. I don't either. So, I see people doing the 6-7. I saw Blake Snell doing it on the parade all the time. And I was trying to figure out what was going on.
I don't want to Google it because I don't want all of a sudden Google to throw that in my face every time I look at something on
Sure.
Facebook or Twitter or something. So I don't want to look up what 6-7 is. I don't. If there's any young kids in the chat, let me know what it means.
What 6-7 means? This is what they do. But
I know, but why?
No, I know. What does it mean though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm 37 years old. I'm too old to know what that means.
Yeah, my kids are not old enough either. So I'm sure when they are, they'll I'll be in on the trends, but I don't know.
All right. We're over the hour, which is fine. Let's get a lineup going for everybody here. Mamu out for Toronto. So there's your CMB.
Possible. It's possible.
CMB minutes there. All right, so we're playing Drummond here, I assume, right?
Yeah,
Drummond, Filipowski. We're just running the value gauntlet here. Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey. $7,200. Dude, we were both in on Maxi.
Yeah.
6,500. Small forward, guard forward, utility. What's the one more plug and we'll finish the line?
Jalen. I feel good about Jalen at small forward.
All right. $5,800 guard forward utility left. The finished lineup will be in the Discord roster lock at 7:30 tonight. So be on the lookout for that one. Our guy Keith has that playbook ready for you in the Discord. Will be updated as news breaks. We'll have updated ownership around 7 o'clock for all of you guys with the latest there with the 7:30 roster lock. Grandi and I will be back tonight with the preview show to talk whatever is left of the Cleveland Cavaliers in their matchup against the Miami Heat. Look forward to that one, and we'll see you guys later.